I work reception at a boutique hotel in Copenhagen. An American couple checked in and immediately asked where the breakfast buffet was. I explained breakfast started at 7. The woman looked confused. No, where do we get snacks now? I told her our cafe closed at 6, but there were convenience stores nearby. She stared at me like I'd suggested something illegal. You don't have 24-hour room service? I said no, we're a small hotel. Her husband jumped in. In America, hotels take care of their guests around the clock. That's hospitality. I smiled and said Denmark works differently. He shook his head. That's not hospitality. That's lazy. They ordered pizza to their room at midnight. When the delivery driver knocked, they complained to me the next morning that your staff was too loud delivering our food. I explained that wasn't our staff. The wife said, well, you should have better control over noise in your hotel. They left a review saying we had third world service standards. We're rated Denmark's second best boutique hotel. My cousin manages a cafe in Amsterdam. An American walked in and sat down, waiting. After 10 minutes, he flagged her down, annoyed. Is anyone actually working here? She said, yes, you order at the counter. He said that was backwards and inefficient. She explained that's how Dutch cafes work. He insisted American table service was scientifically proven to be superior. He finally ordered, then asked why his coffee was so small. She said, that's a normal coffee size here. He demanded a real American coffee, bigger. She offered him a larger size. He took one sip and said, this tastes like water. She explained he'd ordered an Americano, which is literally espresso with water. He said, false advertising. This isn't American coffee. He left without paying, saying the confusion was their fault for misleading branding. I'm a museum guide in Paris at the Louvre. An American woman approached me near the Mona Lisa, standing about 6 inches from my face. She asked how long the wait was. I stepped back instinctively. She stepped forward again, maintaining that same uncomfortable distance. I gave her the information while backing away slightly. She followed, closing the gap each time. After 3 steps backward, I was against a wall. She didn't seem to notice anything odd. She kept talking, asking about tickets, bathrooms, gift shops, all while so close I could smell her gum. A French couple behind her looked horrified. When she finally left, my colleague asked if I knew her personally. I said no. He said, she was standing like you were married. I've noticed this pattern with American tourists. They treat European personal space like a suggestion, not a rule. We stand about an arm's length apart during conversations here. Americans seem to prefer about half that. They think we're cold and distant. We think they're invading our space. Neither side realizes it's cultural. I work at a pharmacy in Oslo. An American man came in and immediately started telling me his complete medical history, loudly, in detail. He described his digestive issues, his sleep problems, his skin condition. Other customers stared. In Norway, we don't discuss personal health matters publicly like this. I tried to move him to a private consultation area. He waved me off. No, I'm fine here. He continued describing symptoms while people waited behind him. One elderly Norwegian woman left the line entirely, clearly uncomfortable. The American didn't notice. He asked about medications, still speaking at full volume about private health details. I kept trying to lower my voice, hoping he'd match my tone. He just spoke louder, thinking I couldn't hear him. When I finally helped him, he said I was the friendliest pharmacist in Norway and that everyone else here was weirdly secretive. I wasn't being friendly. I was trying to protect his privacy. He thought Norwegian discretion was rudeness. He mistook our cultural norm of privacy for coldness. He left happy, completely unaware that he'd made 6 people uncomfortable. A friend works at a high-end restaurant in Stockholm. An American couple came in for their reservation. The moment they sat down, the woman launched into her life story with the waiter. Where they were from, why they were visiting, their kids' names, their jobs, their travel plans for the next 2 weeks. The waiter, who was Swedish, stood frozen, unsure how to respond. In Sweden, this level of personal information exchange with service workers doesn't happen. He nodded politely, waiting for her to finish. She interpreted his silence as interest and kept going. Her husband joined in, adding more details. They asked the waiter about his life. He gave brief, polite answers. They pushed for more. "Come on, don't be shy. Where are you from?" He said Stockholm. "No, but where are you really from?" He repeated Stockholm. They looked disappointed, like he was being deliberately difficult. They told my friend later that Swedish people were impossible to connect with and emotionally closed off. The waiter told my friend he felt interrogated. Neither side understood the other. Americans saw friendliness as mandatory. Swedes saw those questions as invasive. I'm a train conductor in Switzerland. An American boarded a quiet car, talking loudly on his phone. In Switzerland, quiet cars are silent. No phones, no loud conversations. I approached him politely and pointed to the quiet car sign. He glanced at it and kept talking. I waited. He covered the phone and whispered, "What?" I explained this was a quiet car. He said, "I'm on an important call. I'll just be a minute." I told him he needed to move to another car or end the call. He looked genuinely confused. "It's just one call. Everyone's being dramatic." I explained that in Switzerland, quiet car rules are strictly enforced. He said, "In America, we understand that business happens. We're flexible." He didn't move. Another passenger, an older Swiss man, stood up and silently moved to a different car rather than confront the situation. The American noticed and said into his phone, "These people are so uptight about everything." He finally finished his call 20 minutes later. When he got off, he told me Switzerland had authoritarian train rules and that we should learn about freedom. I've worked this route for 12 years. Americans break quiet car rules more than any other nationality. They always think they're the exception. My sister is a librarian in Munich. An American student came in and set up at a table with a coffee, a full meal, and his laptop on speaker for a video call. In German libraries, silence is sacred. People don't even whisper if they can help it. My sister approached him and quietly asked him to use headphones and take his call outside. He said, "I'm in a study space. I'm studying." She explained this was a silent reading room. He gestured around. "Nobody's complaining." She said that's because Germans don't directly confront people. They expect rules to be followed. He laughed. "That's so passive-aggressive. In America, if something bothers you, you say something." My sister, in the most German way possible, said, "I am saying something. Please leave or be silent." He rolled his eyes, packed up dramatically, and moved to another area where he did the exact same thing. Another librarian had to ask him again. He posted on social media later that German libraries were hostile to international students and that the staff harassed him for participating in class remotely. He genuinely believed he was the victim. The concept that different spaces have different cultural noise expectations never occurred to him. I manage a spa in Reykjavik. An American woman came in for a massage. Before the session, I explained our spa has a mandatory naked shower policy before entering pools. It's an Icelandic hygiene standard. She looked horrified. "I'm not showering naked in front of people." I explained it's a private shower area, but yes, nudity is required for hygiene. She said, "That's a violation of privacy. In America, we respect people's boundaries." I told her this was Iceland and these were our rules. She demanded to speak to my manager. I am the manager. She asked if she could shower in her bathing suit. I said no. She tried to argue that soap works the same either way. I explained that bathing suits trap bacteria and this was non-negotiable. She canceled her appointment, furious, saying we were forcing nudity on customers. She left a review calling us a creepy spa with weird naked requirements. Every Icelander who read that review understood immediately she was American. Our entire culture grows up with communal bathing and nudity in spas. It's normal here. She saw it as a bizarre sexual thing. She never considered that her cultural discomfort wasn't universal. She thought we were perverts. We thought she was prudish. Neither was wrong. We just live in different worlds. I work at a small grocery store in Vienna. An American man came in and started shopping, greeting everyone loudly. Good morning. How's everyone doing? Dead silence. Austrians don't greet strangers in grocery stores. We shop quietly, efficiently, and leave. He seemed hurt by the silence, so he tried harder. He commented on people's groceries. Oh, that cheese looks great. Is it good? People moved away from him. He asked me if Austrians were always this unfriendly. I explained that in Austria, we value privacy in public spaces. Random conversations with strangers feel intrusive. He said that was the saddest thing he'd ever heard and that Americans actually care about each other. He went through checkout, still trying to chat with the cashier, who gave one-word answers. He left shaking his head, clearly thinking Vienna was cold and unfriendly. But here's what he missed. The cashier's short answers weren't rude. She was being efficient and respectful of his time. The shoppers who moved away weren't unfriendly. They were maintaining appropriate public boundaries. His loud greetings weren't friendly to us. They were disruptive. He thought he was bringing American warmth to cold Austria. We thought he was being socially invasive. He'll go home with stories about unfriendly Europeans. We'll remember him as another loud American who didn't understand that silence isn't hostility. It's just a different way of respecting each other. The thing about cross-cultural social cues is nobody's wrong. Americans value openness, friendliness, and verbal connection. Europeans value privacy, discretion, and personal space. Neither is better. They're just different. But when Americans assume their social rules are universal, that's when the misunderstandings happen. What feels warm and friendly in Texas feels invasive in Sweden. What feels polite and reserved in Germany feels cold in California. Next time, we'll talk about Americans who tried to tip in countries where tipping is actually offensive. Those stories are something else entirely.